Anything is possible. It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together, you know.
Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Donna Gray and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator from the Northern Rivers area in New South Wales, Australia. I wanted to bring you a simply beautiful, elegant, special card using the Last a Lifetime bundle. This bundle was screaming to me wedding card. So I wanted to bring you a really nice, beautiful, elegant wedding card. So it's the Last a Lifetime bundle and it has the Lasting Elegance dies, which are super stunning. I'm not going to use the real intricate ones. I will bring another video to you using the intricate ones a little bit later on. But I wanted to do a simple wedding card when you've got a wedding that's coming up and you're struggling and you decided that you need to have a wedding card in a flash. So I'm going to bring you a super awesome card. It's got a little bit of work in it, but you will hopefully enjoy it. So I'm going to use some of this gorgeous new paper. Now this new paper is brand new. It is coming as the celebration items during our second release. Let me see here. I'm just gonna, yes, it is. It's free with a $90 purchase. So this is our Celebration second release catalog. It has the first release as well as the second release in it. Now, if you were wanting one of those, please feel free to message me. I will have my phone number down in the link. Just send me a text message with your name and address and I would be happy to pop one in the post for you. So it's some gorgeous designer specialty foil paper. As you can see, it has gorgeous foil accents. So it's got rose gold and silver. So we've got this one here. This is the one that I'm going to be using today. We've got this gorgeous one here with the smaller flowers, which is simply stunning. We have this one here, which has got silver accents. And we also have this one here, which has got the rose gold. So what I decided to do was incorporate it into this gorgeous wedding card that I'm going to make today. And so I've also decided to pair it up with some of our beautiful Whisper White, I think it's Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper. And I'm going to do a different technique today by using some of the oval makeup brushes. So you may have seen people using these oval makeup brushes. They are simply stunning for doing some beautiful shading and very easy to use. And I can tell you, when you use these, you will not want to use a sponge ever again. So I decided what I would do is use the gorgeous Rococo Rose. Now, it's just a different way of sponging your color on, and they are, you pick them up on eBay, or you can even go into your department stores and you can find them in your department stores, but they're super awesome. You don't have to have anything expensive. They're very soft and gorgeous, and they just create a really nice shading effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to rub it off onto there, and then I'm just going to, in the middle of the flowers, give a little bit of a rose gold look. So ink it up again, rub a bit of the excess off and into the flowers. Okay, and I'm just going to do that on all of the flowers here, just in the centers of the flowers. So I'm just wanting to give them just a hint of color. I really want the actual designer series paper to be the star of the show. So I don't want to overcrowd it and I don't want to overpower it with too much shading, but I just wanted to do a really soft shading of the Rococo Rose. And just here, I'm just going to do the little edge bit there. And that's about all I'm going to do. But you can see, actually I might do that a little bit in the corner. But you can see that gorgeous color that we've just got. So this specialty paper is absolutely stunning for coloring. So you can do so much with this paper to actually change the appearance of it. So the other thing, actually before I put that away, I've got a Whisper White card base here and it's out of our thick Whisper White. I've cut that at 5 3/4 inches by 8 inches. I've scored at 4 inches and folded in half, and I'll actually just burnish that with my bone folder. And what I actually want to do is I just want to have a hint of this rococo rose around the outside. I could actually, and I've just put a big smudge on there, but that's okay. I could actually use rococo rose cardstock, but I actually just wanted a hint of that. So I just want to, around the outside edge of this card, just give it a little hint of the rococo rose. And it's okay, it's making that smudge look like it can be part of it. So I'm just giving that a little hint all the way around with this gorgeous makeup brush. Okay. So that then when I put my glimmer paper on, I'm just going to have a hint of that in behind, okay? So I'm going to glue that piece of designer series paper onto the glimmer paper, but because I'm using glimmer paper, I'm actually going to use double-sided tape. Our glimmer paper is totally different to our old glimmer paper, but I just like to use a stronghold glue. You could use liquid glue. I just like to use double-sided tape when I'm going to be adhering to, I used to use glue dots, but now because I'm going to adhere it to that glimmer paper, I'll just use a bit of double-sided tape. So around all 4 edges and a piece in the middle just to make sure it sticks really well. And just with my take a pick tool, grab that backing off. And then glue that onto that glimmer paper. So when you've got double-sided tape, you have to be very, very careful with where you're going to put it, because it's going to be, first go is going to be it. So they're lined up. I find just get above it and really stand above it, and it's easy to get that lined up. And that is going to go on there. So already it's looking super, super cute. Okay, so I've got another piece of glimmer paper. I've also got a piece of our champagne foil card, and I've got a strip of Whisper White. Now on that strip of Whisper White, I'm going to use, the closest that we have for embossing is our copper, and it does go really nicely with the rose gold. So I'm going to use my embossing buddy, and the reason I use the embossing buddy is so that if I have any marks or any oil splotches, I don't want it to come out on my, I don't want the Versamark, sorry, the powder, embossing powder. Oh wow, my words are having a hard time coming out. I don't want the embossing powder sticking to anything that it shouldn't be sticking to. So I've now got that inked up. I'm going to use the stamp To the New Mr. and Mrs. So I'm just going to stamp that down on that piece of Whisper White. And I also want to ink up this gorgeous flower, and I just want to pop some of the flower on the edge pieces just to create a pretty look on the outside edges of that. And you can't really see much at the moment, but when I pop the embossing powder on it, you will see all of that come alive. So as I said, I decided to use the copper embossing powder because it was the closest that I could get to the rose gold. So I'm just going to do that. I'm then going to grab that with my tweezers. And anything that shouldn't be on there, you can Okay, so you can see there, we've got a gorgeous, sorry, my hands are really inky. We've got a gorgeous sentiment there that we can emboss with our copper. So I'll just pop that back into my container. And then I'm just going to heat that to get that to melt into the Versamark. And I like to heat from behind. The reason I like to heat from behind, I'm using number 2 heat setting. You will see this change. There you go. It's starting to change there. The reason I like to heat from behind, it doesn't blow any of the embossing powder around. It also, when it curls your cardstock, it curls it in the direction that when you want to stick it down, it's curling down and under. So that's the reason behind that. Sorry, it's going to wiggle around in the wind. Okay, so with heat embossing, what you need to do is when it starts to turn in the color, and then I just finish off on the top. So we've got a gorgeous embossed look there for our sentiment label. So the main thing with heat embossing is not to heat too much. You don't want to burn your embossing powder. So we now have that looking gorgeous there. So I've got a scrap piece of Whisper White here. I'm also going to bring in, back in with my scrap piece of paper and my embossing buddy. And I'm going to go over it. I want to stamp a couple of these flowers with the Versamark and heat emboss those as well. So I'm just going to stamp probably 2 of them, I think. So I can do one there and another one over there. So our Versamark is a clear sticky ink that gives a watermark effect, and then you can use all different colored embossing powders over the top. So we actually sell white, black, copper, gold, silver. We also have embossing powders in our in colors. So our in colors that are going to be leaving us at the beginning of June, we have embossing colors in all of those colors, and we have clear, and you can also use embossing powder with any of your ink pads and emboss in whatever color. You put it in the Versamark first, then you put it into your colored ink pad, and then you just use your clear embossing powder over the top. So you can emboss, heat emboss in any color that you have in your ink pad collection. Okay, so I'm now once again going to heat those. And once again, underneath, so that I don't blow the heat embossing around, the powder around. And you'll see it starts to change color. There it goes. And you just go with it. I don't wave the heat tool around. I just hold it in one place. Be careful not to hold it too close to your cardstock. You don't want to burn your cardstock. So there's one done. And watch your fingers too, because our embossing guns, our heat guns, can get very hot. So there we have 2 gorgeous flowers embossed. You can see that. Okay. So we actually have a framelit that will match that flower. So that was my plan. I was going to heat emboss and then cut out that flower like that. So I'm going to pop a little bit of rose gold color just in the center of those flowers as well, just to give it that little hint of color. I'm just going to use my scrap piece of paper here. Okay, so just in the middle of the flowers, just a tiny little bit, just to give it that little bit of rococo rose effect. And it's okay if you go outside the lines because we will be cutting it out. So it's totally okay that we do that. All right. So now I'm going to bring in the Big Shot machine and we're going to cut those flowers out. Now with my Big Shot machine, I have my magnetic plate And when you use your magnetic plate, it is fantastic for pre-stamped images because it holds your die in place. So it's super, super awesome for cutting out your images. So we've got that placed nicely on our flower. So we're going to run that one through. Okay, so we've got one flower cut out. Gorgeous. And we'll pop the next one on. We'll line that up and run that one through. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So we'll pop that aside. And pop that framelit back in there so I don't lose it. So as you can see, some gorgeous framelits in there. And now it's just a case of popping this together. And I'm going to glue these ones just with double-sided tape. So I'm going to glue the champagne strip onto the Whisper White glimmer strip just with some double-sided tape once again because I'm using it on the glimmer and I want it to adhere really well to the glimmer. So you need to use a strong adhesive to make sure it glues and stays stuck. So I'm going to pop that on there. And that's going to line up on this one. So we're going to have nothing on the edges, but we're going to have an 1/8 of an inch border on both sides. We're then going to glue this one on here as well. So I need to double-sided tape on the foil. I like to use double-sided tape on the foil as well. Just personal choice, but I find liquid glue is great, but it can tend to slide around when you're using liquid glue on your foil. So I always tend to use a double-sided tape with a strong adhesive to be able to do that. Okay, this one's going to be the same. It's going to go flush right up to the edge. We're just going to have a tiny, minute 1/16 of an inch border top and bottom, like that. Okay. So I'm going to glue that down just with my Tombow now onto that front layer. And I'm going to glue it about in the center. And then with our gorgeous flowers, I'm actually going to pop them up on dimensionals. So we're just going to pop that one on the top, just up there, like that. And this one we're going to pop some dimensionals on. And I have an insert layer here too, so I want to bling up the insert to match the front as well. So I'm just going to pop that one down that way. Okay. And then I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals as well because I like the wow factor of a bit of dimension with your cards. And once again, don't be skimpy on those dimensionals. You want that to stay really nice and popped up for the recipient. And these, a wedding card is something that they're going to keep and cherish probably for most of their life. I know that I collected all of my wedding cards. So it's something that will be a keepsake for them. So you want it to stay really nice for them. So don't be scared to put quite a few dimensionals on the back. Okay. Oh. I'm going to glue that down on that front, just like so. Okay, so now for the inside. We want the inside to look really pretty. I've got a gorgeous, a piece of Whisper White. So I'm actually going to stamp that flower again. So I'm going to use my embossing buddy over the top. Gonna grab out our Versamark ink. And I'm actually going to use this flower just to create a really nice soft look in the corners of the card. So I'm going to stamp one just there. And another one just there. And then up in that top corner, I'm just going to stamp that all in that corner. Okay. And that's going to look pretty. So I'm going to grab out my copper again. So as you can see, the copper blends in really, really nicely with the rose gold, and it looks very similar to the coloring on that designer series paper. Okay, so there we have our gorgeous embossing powder on. So I just pop that back into my container. I know some people say I can't be bothered with embossing, it's too messy, it's too fiddly, but the wow factor of embossing honestly is so worth it. So I'm then going to grab that heat tool again, and from underneath, I'm going to heat that again. I never ever get tired of looking at that embossing powder just taking shape. It is super, super. I remember the first time I ever seen it, I was so excited to see it change like that and go beautiful and smooth and glossy. Okay, so there we have the gorgeous inside of the card. And so I will just take that and with my liquid Tombow, pop that on the inside of my card. I was going to say, I'm positive there was some Tombow in there. Okay, so we're going to pop that on the insert of the card. Now you may say the insert is already white, and that's totally okay, but to add another layer to it just makes it look even more special. Okay, so there you have it. That is my gorgeous, beautiful, elegant wedding card. So hopefully you enjoyed this video today using the Last a Lifetime stamp set and framelits. So hopefully you enjoyed watching this gorgeous card be created. Now everything that I have used today in the video can be found in my online store. So if you wanted to purchase any of the products to recreate this card, you will find in the show more box down below, you will find the link to my online store. You will also find the links to all the products that I have used to create this gorgeous card today as well. If this is the first time that you have watched my YouTube channel and you really liked what I did, please give me the thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please feel free to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell. It's down in the right hand corner. Turn on the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. So once again, my name is Donna Gray. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from the Northern Rivers area in New South Wales, Australia. And these products are simply gorgeous and are current at the moment. So thank you all for watching, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye for now.
Anything is possible, it started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together, you know it's all because everybody plays a part in doing what